This is a shot taken from The Wicker Man, directed by Robin Hardy. The Wicker Man, from a purely aesthetic view, is a bit rough looking, and because of the history of it being cut and footage being lost and so on, has a sort of patchwork feel to it at times, which I find quite charming, and it remains one of my favourites. This shot comes from the scene where Sergeant Howie goes to the school to question the students about Rowan Morrison's disappearance. Upon opening up Rowan's school desk, he finds this beetle, which the girl sitting next to Rowan has placed in there. Thematically, there's a lot of layered stuff in this film about free will or the will of another higher power being imposed on what might perceive to be a lesser being. The beetle is having the girl's will imposed on it by being tethered to the nail. Howie frequently attempts to impose his will on the people of Summerisle, either through his power as a representative of the law and through his attempt to reclaim certain things as having Christian religious authority, which the people of the island have long since given up. Lord Summerisle, to an extent, imposes his will on the people of the island, not even being a true believer in the faith he follows, but knowing that having the people embrace that faith, and him being a representative of that faith, makes them follow his rule without any real question. And of course, the people of Summerisle are imposing their will on Howie without him even knowing, using their knowledge of him to lure him to the island in the first place, and then delicately crafting a mystery about Rowan to keep him there, ultimately leading him to his death, winding him round their fingers as surely as the beetle is winding himself round that nail. And I'm now going to play a little selection of music from this film. So the way they put out the actual soundtrack when they released it, when it's not major pieces, they sort of combine bits together into one track. So you'll hear other pieces of music in this track, which are from the director's cut. A scene where Howie sees the couples making love in the field on his night walk. That particular piece has been informed by Gently Johnny, which is a song in the film, as Willow is deflowering the boy that Summerisle brings to her. And then a piece called The Ruined Church, which comes up again at the end when they are preparing Howie to be sacrificed. But it's really the opening song that's the interest point for me. This song's lyrics are actually based on a poem by Robert Burns, and alongside it being a clue into Howie heading into a locale that's a little dated in its approach to things, a bit more quaint than the mainland, it also lends it a legitimacy as folk music of the culture, which then means that you sort of carry over an acceptance when it introduces folk music composed specifically for the film. It lends it that credibility when it starts with something that is that authentic.